we're going to be talking about three very important clauses: the morality clause, the image right clause, and the injury clause. Yeah, the very first one, which is the morality clause, simply means morals, good behavior, good manners, how a player should coordinate him or herself during the game, outside the game, during training, outside of training, when the player is on vacation, probably even when the player goes to a party. That is, in essence, what morality clause is. And you don't want that to be vague. You will see a lot of contracts to say the player should always behave in a very good manner at every point in time, or the player should behave in a manner that does not bring repute or disrepute rather to the club. You ask yourself, as an agent, what does this really mean? You need to be clear, concise on what the clause actually says. You need clear words. You need to tell them, please, I need these clauses to include this. I need these clauses to be like this. Not just some vague blanket words to say, oh, you must have, or you must always have a good behavior. What does good behavior means? So as an agent on your morality clause, you need to be careful. You need to make it well couched to say, this does not, extend to anything that are not criminal conviction. I'll give you a practical example. Nicolas Anelka, during his time at West Bromwich Albion, he did a celebration, when he scored a goal. I think he put his hand on his, he did a kind of kinel. That was the celebration called, a kind of salute, and very close to some anti-Semitic or race, narcissism kind of gesture. And West Brom terminated his contract. What would you do as an agent? You would have claused it. This behavior does not, it's not a criminal thing. It was just a gesture for scoring goals. And that cost him his contract at West Brom. The very, very big one, we've seen that of Mendy in Liverpool. He was accused of rape and he lost everything. Even his contract was terminated at Man City, even though the trial charged him not to be guilty rather, but you already lost a lot. So as an agent, you need to be careful how this morality clause should be. It needs to be clear. It needs not extend to things that are not criminal. Accusations should not be penalized. You should insert reasons for warning. And you can see Balotelli as well, his contract with Liverpool, there was a morality clause in that contract to say he must behave very good at all times. Please, guys, agents, be careful with the morality clause. Don't leave it vague. Don't let it overstretch to things that are not criminal. So better way to couch that clause is insert some warnings that if any behavior that is found unwanted should first be issued warning. If there is no actual criminal conviction, there will be no actual termination of contract. Give space for arbitration, give space for discussion, and always allow extra time or panels to assess each behavior to determine the extent or the consequences of what that behavior would look like. You see, it is very important. Don't let your client or your player lose his or her contract because he or she did a slide or over an armless tweet. Yeah, the second one is the image right. We all know it is a very big issue now in the world of football. Everybody's talking about image right. We will not go into details as to what the whole concept of the image rights is, the laws and all of those things, because we'll do a separate episode for that, and I want you to watch out for that episode as well. But what is image right? Image right simply means the use of the player's name, his brand, his number, his gestures, to be honest, his nickname, his celebration, how a player is perceived, that is his brand personnel. How do clubs use it? There are clubs that are big clubs, without mentioning names. Once you get into the club, you're signing out 50% of your image rights to those big clubs. There are clubs that once you come, there's a percentage on how much of the image right it is that it is their own or it is for them. So as an agent, you need to be very careful on what these image rights clauses are, how they are being presented, to what length are these image rights extended to your players. One thing you should look out for as agents, especially on image rights, is how much of that image is controlled by your player. Secondly, to what extent or when does the image rights contract between those clubs and the players, when does it end? For example, like Jose Mourinho, he found out that Chelsea already had the image right or patent for his name in the Premier League. So when he got to Manchester United, he couldn't use the word Mourinho or Jose Mourinho, which was a very big issue. So as agents, you have to look out for your clients in regards to their image rights. To what extent can the club use it, and to what number of years? So what you should be looking at is this image right clauses should end when your player leaves the club. The percentage, you should be able to control the use of your image right and get money for it. I always advise people, when you're going to big clubs, even to young players, your image right should be separated from your actual earning income, especially for countries like England, where personal income goes up to like 45%. You don't want to marble that into your image right clause. Your image right should be a standalone brand. You can see recently with Bukayo Saka, his image right is over 4.3 million, and it is a standalone contract. So as agents advising your players, you have to be careful. Some clauses that are not there. We can see that of Mo Salah when he sued the Egyptian FA for putting his picture on the Egyptian flight and promoting another telecommunication company, which was a rival brand. So this is also very important in cases where we have these clauses that are not well couched. You need to be able to protect your players. We saw that with Dybala when he was coming to Tottenham. Dybala's contract fell off and was not able to sign to Tottenham because they couldn't agree on the use of his image. It's that much of a big deal. So you need to be careful. You need to look at it very well. You need to know to what extent. Those are the very important things you should look out for. Who owns the image? To what extent can the image be used? And to what length? How long should that image right agreement between your player and the club, how long should it actually last? Finally, you have to look at the third one, which I call the injury clause. The injury clause is a very, very important one because a lot of people just ignore it for some reason. A lot of people ignore the injury clauses for some reason, and you shouldn't, because players who are signing long contracts, which is a norm now in football, you see players coming, especially in Chelsea, you see them signing 6-7 years. We saw that with Haaland signing like, I think, 9 years with Man City. So you need to be careful as agents. What are the consequences of this contract? If my player is injured, what would actually happen to him? What are the blankets covered or the insurance that this player has got? Is he able to assess the injury through a personal doctor or physiotherapist? Is he going to get paid his full salary while he or she is out injured? Is this contract going to be terminated because he's injured for so period of time? Is there insurance on ground if he sustains a final career-ending injury? These are the things you should look out for as agents in regards to players' injury. And we've seen it like that. There was a time a player from Sunderland, Alvarez, had to sue the team because they voided his contract when he had an injury. So all of these things are very important to players. You should be able to guard them. You should be able to protect them from the consequences of long-term injuries when they're signing this contract. We saw the likes of Alex Tuazembe when he sued Manchester United for negligence when he had injury. So you need to be careful. How should your club respond to you when you are injured? Those clauses should be there, and it is very important because it helps protect your players and it helps protect the future of their career. So there you have it. Those are the 3 most important clauses that you shouldn't miss out: the morality clause, the image right clause, and the injury clause. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to like, remember to comment, remember to share as well with your friends, and that's the only way you can support us. I am still your favorite agent, Fumbi Ball, and hope to see you next time. Thank you.